This conference will now be recorded.
We finished all this constructor solver topic. We have a very detailed discussion there. So yesterday we were doing some small example with pattern matching. Okay, we can continue from this. What is it? Suppose when you look at this, this is a map with a couple of key value pairs here. Can you see that? We have some key and value pairs, and you know, right from that, if we call get function, get returns what? It returns an option, and by default option returns some class if value exists or if data exists, otherwise it returns none if no value exists. So that's how the option works. We had a detailed discussion in the yesterday session. We are very clear with that, right? So that's it, guys. Now what is that is suppose in this code itself, just a quick analysis. Suppose if I run this code, okay, so let's run it. So if you see the output, when I try to print C1, it returns obviously big data, but we got output as a sum of big data. Why? Because option by default returns sum if there is data, otherwise none if we don't have data. Now the question is, if it returns sum object, if option gives us sum, then how do I get the value from sum? That is important. So yesterday I have discussed with you, if I want to extract a value from sum, there is a simple and straightforward process. What is that process? Something like this. What is that? If you want just value, then on this sum, what I can do, you can see here. When I print result, what result will do? Result will give us option, and option give us what? Sum. Correct. Now I can do one thing. If I want to extract value from that sum, what should I do now? I can say dot get. Okay. When I say get, what happens? It should exclusively return what? That I'm just testing. Otherwise, I will just make a small change to this code. Otherwise, I'll take 3 more prints so that you don't miss the flow here. So now on top of this, I'm saying get here on option. Result 1 is an option. Result 2 is an option. Result 3 is an option. On top of that, I call get here to show you the difference. See, I'm getting an error. Why? No such an event. Okay, because the issue is on none. I'm trying to get apply get. See, when can I apply get? When there is a value, I can apply get. And the third one is none. On none, if I'm apply get means there is no use for me. Correct, right? It's like trying to get something from a bowl which doesn't have nothing. If a bowl has something inside that, then if you apply get function, then or if I apply that get operation, it returns something from the bowl. But bowl has the bowl doesn't have nothing, doesn't have anything. Then on top of that, I apply get. What happens? If somebody is seeing that I'm putting a hand in a empty bowl and I'm trying to get from that something, if somebody sees that, what they will say? They will generally make fun of me, right? Arey yaar, did you lost your mind or what? That is an empty bowl. What are you trying to get from an empty bowl? That's what this meaning is. No such element exception. And when you get this no such element exception, when you don't have any value inside that object, then it returns what? No such element exception. Usually the scenario is don't try this on none objects because none itself is saying null. Again on null, if you are trying to get something, means it is foolishness. It is like no sannyasi, right? A bachelor, a saint. Usually saints don't marry. It is like asking them to marry. That's how it is. Okay. Null doesn't return anything. It is done. So don't try to get anything. That is the error. So, but from some, if I want to get a direct value, then I can apply get on each of that sum object. When I say get, it returns what? Now, if I run this time you don't need to expect any exception. Everything is perfect. Can you see here now? Now I didn't get sum object. If I directly print this result, it is returning sum object. On top of that, if I apply get, I get the actual value that is present inside sum. Do you understand this? Do you understand this, friends? Okay, I don't think this is difficult to understand as well. Okay, what do you do right now? You can just test it, sir, quickly. Please test it once. Okay, so extracting what? A value from some class or some object using what method? Using get method. Using get operation. It's not a method. Method has parentheses. It's an attribute. Internally it might call a getter method, but at our level it's an attribute. Using get operation. Okay, I am also pasting this in the chat box. Those who ever wish to, because that's maybe if you want to prepare your notes. Okay, you can make it. Madhu, I think you can take it. Now you test it, sir. Don't copy and paste it, sir. First, you try to execute it, type it, and try to run it. Later on, you can copy and paste it. Got it right? Once you are familiar, then copy paste it, sir. Don't do copy paste until you are comfortable and familiar with the topic. Okay, that's it. Take a minute and test it, sir. So once it is done, okay, just confirm, sir. Once testing Yeah, thank you guys. So now let's move to the next topic. Now we have seen get. Another concept is get or else here. What is it? Get or else method. What it does? It's a simple and straightforward. Like get, what this method does is that suppose you have an option. Option has some value. Then when you apply get, it returns that value of some. Okay. Suppose option don't have a value, then you usually declare that value with the method itself. It's a default value. Maybe if I show that with a small example, you can quickly correlate it with that. Instead of talking here on a theoretical this thing, let me take a small example here to understand get or else method. We'll have clear detailed analysis. You remove all this, no need of all this for now. Now you take one option, some val space, okay, option, okay, and then you can take something a string or integer of your choice, anything of your choice, equal to some sum of some array. Okay, 1 minute. I should give some variable also, right? It's a data type. Option is data type. You should have some variable, right? Just take some num colon option. Now the issue is solved. Usually, when you declare option, option accepts a value in the form of either a sum object or either in the form of a none object. Maybe you might be wondering, sir, why don't you give directly 100 here? Now, if I give 100 directly, it's an integer. But as per option, either it will accept sum or it will accept none. Even your value has to be given in the form of sum object, like how, like, like which we have done just now, like this. Now, what I need is, if I apply get, it will return this. Suppose that there is another method, get or else. What it does? Suppose you see here now, on top of this, I say some println of, or you can take another variable, some val sum x equal to num dot get or else. You can see on top of that reference, option reference, we can find three methods. Leave about this. This is actually part of some, what do you call it, is a reflection. That is altogether a different topic. We don't need it right now. But when you look at this methods on top of this reference option, either we we can see get or else. Okay, I'm using the second method and then enter. Okay, and you can see here it is saying something default here, means what? I give some 200. Now let us just test it. Two cases. This is case one. I'm testing case one, where I have initialized a sum object to option, means we have given some value to the option. Some data exists here. Now on top of that, I am trying to get that value from option, and I am initializing to x here. And you can declare it with whatever the type you want. Here, this is giving us what 200. As we are extracting data, we can directly declare with a type here int. We don't have any problem because that get will return whatever the type or whatever the value that is there on in this sum object. You got it right. So now you print that x. This is case one. Okay. Suppose there is another case two. All of you clear with this, right? Is this case clear for everyone? Is it clear for everyone, guys? Please confirm yes or no. Okay. Case two. Now you see here. This time my option is none. What is my option? My option is none here. Okay, and then, but you know why I'm seeing an error? Because if you see here, it is an int here. I don't think this int will accept this. I do one thing. I just make it as simple option. Let me try this. Mhm. Then- Okay, I got the issue. I got the issue now. It can be like that. See, I'm redeclaring the variable, guys. Can you see here now? So that is one of my mistakes. So I make it as num2. So that is the issue, because we can set none to option with any type inside that, because it is equivalent to having none. As option holds an object or null, there is nothing wrong to have any type here. So there is nothing to worry. I set it to none this time. You see, right? This accepts none. This time, you know, what I'm doing is, as it is none, let us use the same example now. Just change the variables. Make it as x2. Okay, and print that x2. Now what happens? No errors. We are fine now. The first case, we have something there. And when data is there, then it returns that existing one. When you apply get or else, we get what? We get actual value that is there with the sum object. Okay. Then when you print x, we get 100. In second case, I am initializing none. But in the method get or else, I am passing 200. When there is no value present, what this method does is this returns this default value. 200 is stated as a default value. Now what happens in this case? This 200 is returned as a value this time instead of none, because or else, you know, it is used to set a default value to this reference, this variable. Sorry. So that is what the purpose of else part here. Get or else means this function, this method, what it does is it returns a value if that option has some data. Otherwise, it returns a default value if option is set with none. That's what happens here. So when you run it, you see the code now. Can you see here now? So save this program num2, and you know, still in the program, if you wonder, it is giving 100 and 100. No, why? You might be seen, you might be observing here, the whole code is perfect, but there is a small change I have to do here. What is that? Num2. If the same code is given in a aptitude test, most of the people would answer it as 100 and 100, even including myself. I am not sure if I don't observe this small change here. This is how people will test your analytical analysis. Got it right? So anyhow, this time we expect something really correct output. Whatever you are expecting, that comes this time. 100 and 200. If option has some data, get or else will return that some value, else it will return that default value. Okay, you got this right? This is idea about what? Idea about the get or else methods. Okay, what you can do now, you can quickly test this use case. So that is about get or else here. Again, as a part of this thing notes, as you guys asked me to give us to post it in chart. So I am also posting the code, everything in the chart. You can prepare it, you can use it for preparing notes, but first you test it without copying and pasting. That is my suggestion, but it's up to you, sir. Please test it, take a minute and test it. Practice makes not only men, women also perfect, but we don't have women in this session so far. Suppose if we should learn data science or cloud computing, which one you prefer, guys? Because I am planning either one of these two once my Python sessions were done. What do you think is best for us? Cloud computing or data science? Oh, data science is best. Okay, fine. Yeah, I agree, Madhu. I am also equally excited. I want to quickly start some cloud computing, probably GCP. I would like GCP. See that GCP is having a lot of boom in the coming days. Of course, I don't say AWS and Azure are bad, but as far as I am observing, I am seeing a lot of boom for that. Okay, is it tested? Okay, guys. Next, let's switch to the next one. We'll switch to the next one. What is that? Is empty. This is nothing. It is a very simple and small topic. What is this is empty does is, as name says, option have two possible, outcomes. When you look at option, if you look at the small diagram here, no, you might have some value or might have none. What is empty does? If you have some value, is empty returns true. If it doesn't have any value, it returns false. That's how is empty works. You got it right? Huh? So it's a simple use case. We can just quickly test it here itself. So that's what is empty, sir. Is empty is just checks whether your option is empty or not. Empty in sense whether it has some data or it's none. If none means it is empty. If not, it is a not empty. That's it. So maybe on top of this, you can do one thing. You can directly check here itself before you call this println of num dot. What is that? Is can you see here there are so many methods. Okay, but I don't need all those methods. I just need just empty here. Just put this here and just test it. Might be it should be an attribute. That's why it is written in. Again, here also test it. Here also test the same. Num2 dot is it's a boolean. It's a method which returns some booleans. If you look at it, it takes a boolean value. It returns true if your option is empty. Otherwise, it returns false if it is not empty. So what do you get here? You get a false. What do you get here? You get you should get true here. Let's test it anyhow and understand it. Yeah, perfect. Can you see that now? That's what is empty is all about. Understood? Is it clear or not? I don't see any complication or this is something too complex, too deeper here. It's a simple, straightforward. Okay, I don't see any complexity here. Okay? So you can test it. Take a minute and quickly test it. Is empty. Then there is one more use case. We'll finish that and then switch to the case class. Probably, if possible, today we will get introduction to case class. Tomorrow we do a couple of use cases on case class. One of the most important use case. No, concept in Scala. Test it, sir. Then I will switch to the with option, how to apply pattern matching with option. That is the use case. And then we will we will close this option and sum concept, sum and none concept, and then we will switch to the case class. That's how we will.
Manohar,
Yes, please.
I'm Bhartushan here. In the case one, val x equal to int num dot get or else 200 you are writing, right?
Yes.
Here the output will be
100.
what?
100. 100.
100.
It's 100 here because we have replaced value. It's 200 here.
No, yeah, has okay. If we write number dot get or else 100, then also it will return 100.
Yes, see, this works like this, Bharat. Okay. If this option has some data, then it returns that sum, that value of that sum. Got it? If option have value, means if it is having some none, then it takes the default value. That's how it works.
Okay, okay, got it.
Clear?
Okay, then if in the case of get or else, if you give whatever value, it will give only 100 only.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You can give 300 here. It's not like we should give 200 everywhere. This
Yeah,
time what?
okay, got it, got it.
Okay. Yes. Guys.
Okay. Got it, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, fine. Hope this is third use case. I'm also pasting this data to you. You can take it. I have put it in the chat box. Just if I forget, please just ping me, or you can ask me. Just to give that notes in the chat. Don't feel shy, or don't hesitate, please. And last use case, applying pattern matching with option. Got it right? Let us try to do some pattern matching with the option, how it works. Okay, this is also one famous use case in a real-time scenarios. Okay, might be we don't directly use a real-time code, but we are trying to understand how it works with the simple use cases here. Got it right? So another one, applying the pattern means applying that right, you remember, right, that the switch case. How do we do pattern matching in Scala? We implement switch case, but we don't have direct switch case here. We have a match keyword here. With match we implement that switch case, and usually the switch case in Scala is more or less, it's more used to implement this pattern matching. Of course you can also use like a switch in other languages for making choices. Okay, so applying pattern matching with the option and switch case. Switch instance here, match, I am putting in the brackets. Okay, same use case, you can take it like this. Okay, let us just take a small analysis. You can see here, you can try like this as well. We'll go to the directly to the analysis part here. I'm going back with the map example. You can take anything, if not map also, you can take any use case. It's not like we should use map. Okay, Even we can take a small example like this. Okay, even with this also we can apply that switch case example. It's not like we need always map for us. We'll see here otherwise. I'll show you with a small simple use case so that everybody understand that you don't have a problem to understand. Now we see something like val some some result equal to. Now I am applying a case here, switch case here. What is that? The case variable. Usually the syntax of match here, the pattern match is something like this. You remember, right? What is that? Some var name and then match. And then you have to get into that and then body for that. And then here you have cases. Anyhow, I'll show you here. Okay. So here declare cases. That case takes that case. We can have multiple cases. Usually these cases are used to implement to make choices. You can have different choices. So to choose kind of what is that, you can have different choices. Choose what is that this kind of. So now we have to check that. A simple one, something like num is the variable with which we are doing matching here. The match keyword. I don't, and this works like this. Now we are doing with method. Remove that. That value given, right? Is already num expression which I am comparing with all the case values. Usually, what is this time? What is it? My case value, obviously, right? What is this num here? Num can be either sum or it can be either none. Two possibilities is num is an option. Option means what is that? This case value. Value for that. Directly we have to give the constant, not the variable here. So what is it? It can be something like this. You have to take like this sum of num arrow mark. Then, so you are comparing here. What is it? The value of that option is it can be something sum, and obviously internally it has something, some value that you have to pass it as a parameter, not like a value directly. Don't put 100. This whatever the value are matching that you can pass to sum. Now if it is, what is that? If it is there, that number exists, then you can just print it like this, something like println of what is that? That number. You can directly print that, or you can also return it, sir. So what you can do is you do just apply num here, and one more is case none, because usually with option, if this matching variable is option has two possibilities, either sum or either none. You see here the constants with option, it can have two objects, either sum object or none object. You can see it here, and if it is sum, it takes a parameter as a value that I am trying to compare. If it is matching with that, then if sum is returned, then we are trying to extract num from the sum. If it is none, we are trying to extract. We just give simple text here, key not found. Okay, or value not found. You can say here. You can give anything of your choice, whatever it is. So this is a simple pattern matching with the option. Here we don't need is empty or all this bullshit is not required. Okay, you can just right away make it. Okay, you can make it straight up. Just some given this X is not necessary. Okay, save it. Then finally println of a result. Okay, and then what do you do? Just run it. You understand this use case? It's a very simple and small and important use case. How we can use option in pattern matching? Got it right? So the comparison variable is option here. Then the case value is dependent on the comparative comparison variable here, the expression or the variable which is used to compare here. So as it is option, the case values either can be sum or none here. If it is an integer, here it should be integer values. It is a constant should be given here, not that variable directly. So now you run it. Let's see the outcome for this. It's having some build error. So let me, somewhere I'm seeing, let me just remove this because it's see, I didn't comment properly in the top. Save it, then run it. Let us see. I got 100 here. Can you see this now? It's perfect. This is another way to extract a value from sum by applying pattern matching. If you don't use get, earlier we know how to extract 100 from sum directly. How do I do that? The easiest way for me is applying get function, get operation, or applying get function. Even that is also a method. Other way around here is instead of get, I can also apply this pattern matching, and through pattern matching, I can extract the value from this sum here. This is another way of extracting the data. Now, if I am what I am giving, the option has sum. Num is compared with num is returning sum. This case gets executed. Then I am, if it is sum of num, then I am trying to get num from that. That is returned and that is initialized to this variable result. Okay, and that when I print result, that value gets printed. That num has 100. Straight away we get 100. Suppose instead of sum here, I give none. See this. Just run it. Then I get key not found here. Okay, that's it. Because none means nothing is there. Then obviously what happens? As option returns none, this case gets satisfied. Whichever the case is satisfied, the value of that case is returned. That is initialized to this variable, and we can print it like this. Okay, this is how we can apply pattern matching by taking option as a parameter with this match or the switch case, this match case. Got it right? So you can test it in any of these two ways. That's up to you. So this is simple analysis. What do you do, sir? You can test this example. Take this. Okay, just keeping it here. The same program I have simplified it. I have brought down a bit of much more. Okay, test it. We have simplified it to the simplest level possible. Okay, test it. Okay. Once you finish, just confirm it, sir. Then we will go to we'll have an introduction to case class today. Thank you. And also I am copying and pasting it because for preparing your notes. Got it? So this is about all this. Even same example where we took with map. Now instead of map, we have just simplified it because it's up to us, like how to take it. So you can make it simple or you can make it too big. It depends on the level of understanding that you have. The point is, you can take a complex example that most of the people do, but bringing it to the most simple example needs little understanding of the topic. Got it right? So that comes with practice. I'm not saying that I'm good at it, but only point is Making things simple needs a lot of experience and understanding. Got it right? So that's it, guys. We have just started, doing a lot of workarounds for different topics, and whatever come to our way, we try to explore it as much as possible. And I'm sure we have done enough exploration to get into the shoes of each and every topic we have done so far. That's really wonderful for us. Now, the other topic is case class. Even case class is one of the most used topic in big data. When you go to the data frames, in Spark there are certain things like what we call it as data frames, RDDs. Suppose if you want to convert, there is something called RDD, which is the core data structure of Spark. That is also a collection routine. When we finish collections like list and map, RDD is also a collection, a kind of list we can assume. So that is the core data structure of Spark actually. Now, if I want to convert an RDD to a data frame in Spark, I'm just giving a background to you where we can apply this exactly. That lambda functions, all that comes, you see that every day in the Spark code, without which most of your day doesn't complete. But apart from that, the importance of case class, how it is very useful for us. In most of the scenarios, case classes are very much necessary. For example, okay, you have something in Spark. I'm giving a small background to you. Background where we can use much of this case classes. In Spark, we have something have RDD. RDD are just very basic level data structures for Spark, but every Spark is completely built on these RDDs. This is the data structure Spark internally uses. The default data structure is RDDs. But there is a time RDD has certain limitations. We'll talk it in Spark. Now I want to convert that RDD to data frame. What is that? Data frame, which is also a data structure. All these are data structures, sir, or something like data set, whatever it is. Okay. Now the use case is if I want to convert this RDD to a data frame, internally what we use something called this case classes. Because RDD don't have a structure. To provide a structure to the RDD, these case classes are very important. They play a very important role in converting that RDDs to these data frames. Got it right? For example, just to show you the importance, nothing more than that. So case classes, because before you learn something, when you understand how it is going to be applied, then automatically you get a bigger you get that interest to apply it. Okay? That's why I'm trying to show this case classes in Spark data frames. Okay, we will just take any one example. Anywhere if it is, I'll show you. We don't need, we're not going to get into the root of this data frame and data set or RDDs. See, there are, I told you, in Spark we have hardly 4 topics. That RDDs, methods of RDDs, data frames, methods of data frames, data sets, methods of data sets, and 1 or 2 more topics are there. That's all. That will close this Spark. But but most of this stuff, no, the struct field is also one more. Can you see here now? They're doing so much of this trade. This is so much of thing in that website. I am not going to talk into that. They are trying to give some structure to this data by applying this case classes. You will see here. Okay, that is one thing. Anyhow, let us take some other small example. Just showing you how it is useful to us. So this is another use case you can see here. Got it right? Case class. This is simple. You even you got some idea on that. You don't need to worry about it. Okay, because you know how to create classes. When you know how to create a class, creating a case class is nothing. we have enough fundamentals, we have enough foundation, we have a concrete foundation in the object concept, object and classes. With that foundation, we can easily swim all this, swim all these topics. Got my point, right? So here, if you look at it, they were creating some sequence object. You can generate, can you see here now? Test data using case, class, and sequence. Now you can see here something they were giving. Just see, you don't need to understand. And now converting employee data to data frame here. In converting that employee data to data frame, definitely what is that? This case classes plays a phenomenal role here. Got it, right? So one is you can see first they prepared case class. That case class gave a structure to this data, and that is passed to sequence. You see here, sequence. You don't need to understand anything in this code. Just observe. So whatever I am trying to tell you, that you can catch it. Other things, leave it. What's happening here, you don't need it. But how it is happening, just understand the flow. That's all. This is a case class that is passed to sequence that built an employee data object. And now from that, what we are doing, we are building a data frame here. You can see here. We are saying employee data dot data frame. To convert it to a data frame, definitely the very core component in this is definitely case class in this Spark application. Got it, right? So means that gives you a 100% idea and 200% importance of case class. Got it, right? Because we can talk about the topic, but where it is applied, how it is applied, and how important it is, the usage is very important. When you understand that, definitely you can have more interest in learning that. That's what I believe. Okay. So now you got it, right? How case classes are very important. Here it might be just a concept, sir. See, in Scala, it might be just a concept, but when you go to a Spark, we are applying there. That's why we might think, why I am trying to get into the shoe of each, even if it is a small topic, why we are getting into the shoe of that. Got it, right? So that tomorrow when you get into the Spark, you should not feel any complexity in Spark. If at all, if you feel anything, you should feel that in Spark Scala itself. Got it, right? You don't need to feel that again, that difficulty in Spark. You got it, right? It's like it's like I'm falling in love with a girl and trying to understand her before marriage itself. Got it, right? That's what we are doing right now. Understanding Scala now. Even applicable for girls also opposite side. And whatever the thing you need to do, that you try to get it now itself, because Spark is like after marriage. What you have to do, apply everything what you know. Got it, right? So when you can apply better, when you have better understanding of each other, that's what this is. So anyhow, today I will stop here, because it's not like I don't want to, but just introducing this, I don't want to make it just a half thing. So let's have tomorrow a detailed discussion and how we can create case classes. But this is simple, easiest thing, but very powerful also, because data frames are dependent on this. And one of the crucial concept in Spark is that if you go to big data interview, people always ask these questions: difference between RDD, data frame, data sets. Most of the time, this is, if you are answering most of these questions, and this you can get job, because that's how even I am seeing in many interviews. Got it, right? So cracking this, big data job is not that difficult comparative to many technologies. Trust me, because even I am there, right? But the problem is, once you get into the industry, I'm preparing you, like how to be confident and application oriented. That's what I'm doing. Okay, sir. I don't want to give more information, this lecture on this too much now. Stop here, and tomorrow we'll talk more on this, right? Any questions other than this importance of case class. Are you good so far with all the concepts what we have done in Scala? Others, are you fine, sir? Harish or Madhu or Srini or Vera. I think Vera is there today. Nowadays seems like Vera got little busy. Might be because of his work, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Okay. So, but anyhow, videos are there. I am uploading, much more, faster than the earlier days. I'm trying to upload immediately the same day or the next day. Okay. Okay, guys. Good night. We'll meet tomorrow, and let's have a detailed, workarounds on this case class. Okay, we'll play with it. Thank you.